welcome to Pricing College with your hosts Aidan Campbell
and Joanna Wells.
In today's episode, we want to cover how different brands can help you segment your market.
Yeah, have you ever thought maybe that, you've got some brands that I'm thinking now of like hotel brands and how they can really help position a business in the market, but they also can help position your pricing in the market by having the existence of 3 or 4 different brands. So like I'm thinking the Accor brand, you've got Sofitel, you've got Novotel, Mercure brand under that business. And they really help to define the pricing and also the price positioning, the tiering system, and the customer segmentation.
Yes, like in theory, what we're doing is we're segmenting our customer base, and our customer base are people who want to stay in a hotel. In this instance, and there are other examples we can give also, but in this instance, there are people who want to stay in a hotel. That is the main item they're purchasing, but their drivers will be very different. Some will want a romantic weekend away, others will be a family holiday, other people might be workers, in a city for a couple of days and just want somewhere where they can prepare their own meals, etc. So there are slight nuances to the drivers that are really making people choose that hotel. Location, etc. is obviously one also, but I suppose in America, they're probably the most advanced in that, where you've a huge number of very micro niche brands, even under the same larger brand. Whereas in the Accor brand common in Australia, we have Sofitel at the top 5-star, going the whole way down to a Formula One, which is a 1-star. I think America is probably the most advanced in that, where they've done even more market research on the customer base to really tailor in.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Is it, they've obviously done a lot of segmentation, a lot of customer and market research to define those customer groups and price groups. But they're almost like micro groups, micro segmentation, and they're far more developed in the US. They seem to know each of their customer groups, and then they market to them these various hotel brands according to what they want to hear based on their customer experience, their online experience, what they want, their customer value drivers, to direct them to the right offer. And then from there, they provide promotional offers that are tailored to that individual. So very personalized offers. So you can see this almost like layered approach. You've got your price and your customer segmentation aligned to brands. And then from there, you move on to personalized promotion to sell more, to ensure capacity utilization and to drive up yield based on customer demand.
And from a pricing perspective, what are the real reasons why companies do this? I suppose, if you take an example where in a world that this didn't occur, where one hotel company just has one hotel brand, basically what they'll be doing is they'll be charging a mid-market price. There'll be too much for some people and not enough for others. There won't be enough luxury and value adds in there. So really what you're doing, if you're segmenting the offer, you're tailoring the exact offer that you're giving to customers to really maximize the willingness to pay and meet that willingness to pay in those different categories. So you're providing a basic service to people who just need a stopgap for the night, somewhere to rest. Maybe they might get an early morning flight, and then you've the whole way up the echelon to people who are willing to pay for a once in a lifetime trip, a real luxury hotel. It could be fancy restaurants that go with it, and you're maximizing that willingness to pay. Obviously, there's a threshold where you can't have infinite number of hotel brands. But certainly in the American method, they'll tailor it to be little value adds. You can pay extra for certain things like bottles of wine, etc., or maybe using the hotel, the spa, and these sort of things. So it really is tailoring the offer into the value drivers to really have that maximize and really link into the willingness to pay that people have.
I suppose this is really how wider business strategy in terms of consolidating, buying up relevant brands and businesses that complement your business strategy, aligned to your pricing strategy. There's no point, for instance, buying brands, for instance, that don't fit that pricing strategy or could be at odds with the pricing strategy, because it's very hard to then capitalize and monetize your business strategy, and you can end up almost sort of diluting your price point. So here you see two very important things: the impact of pricing on your business strategy and how your wider business strategy in terms of acquisitions and mergers really link to your pricing strategy as well.
And we'll see this, you see it in many different areas, not as advanced potentially as in the hotel industry, but say in the classic example of airlines in Australia, Qantas, which is at one point in time was really the dominant player in the market, it is still to a large extent. They then launched a lower price version, Jetstar. You'll also see it even in car companies where Hyundai, the Korean company, as they were moving up, developing from being a bargain car into sort of a more of a mid-market car, they then launched a lower price entrant into the market also in Kia. And you'll see this, we're obviously in the American market where it's a very large 300 million people with a lot more similarities across the different states than you might have, say, across European countries. You can have more brands under the same companies. An example again would be General Motors, where obviously through a long history of 100 years or more of acquisitions, etc., and buying up different brands, they operate a huge number of branded cars really tailored to certain niche segments. That really, I suppose, they take advantage of what people want from a vehicle, whether it's history, the brand, the logo, comfort, status, sports appeal, all these different things. And it's really knowing the customer, knowing what drives them, and then providing a product with barriers against lower cost competition, so you can maximize the profitability in that sector whilst potentially selling something at a cheaper price to somebody else.
Yeah, and this is a great example of strategic acquisitions where the strategy team are really thinking commercially about future acquisitions, how they're going to expand the brand and product portfolio, and then working with the pricing team to monetize that. And then the pricing team needs those different brands to then help position the brand using, I think we've discussed this before, frame and anchoring techniques, so that they know that tiering system is correct. And then they can adjust the price bandwidths and the price tiers according to business intelligence that flows through the business, through the pricing team. And then they can optimize their prices, their promotions on an ongoing basis.
On this podcast, we often talk about a value culture and really understanding the value that you offer. I think in this example of different brands tailored to different segments, this really is of paramount importance. The only reason to have a different brand, say in a hotel industry, is it's because of the value it offers. There's no other reason to do it. It's purely to have, if you've got an understanding through market research or whatever else of the value that you offer, matching a consumer demand, that really is the entire business model. And I suppose it's a good one for people to remember. When you're thinking about a value culture, just think of these hotel brands, why they exist, and the fact that they purely exist to meet that pricing requirement.
Yeah, and remember, this very much applies to B2B because they too are going through a lot of consolidation. They're thinking about buying up various brands either as a competitive tactic, a strategy, and even to expand their product portfolio. But it's remembering very much about positioning, tiering, how you're going to structure your pricing structures to ensure that you really do make money out of the brands and they don't end up biting you and actually leading to margin loss over time.
Yeah, I think we're going to cover some similar topics in future podcasts. So I think we'll leave it there today. Have a great day.
Yeah, have a great day. Thank you.